what Jesus did at 3 o'clock in the morning, or in the early morning hours before the sun's up. He sneaks out of the house. He goes out without, I say sneak, he went out without anybody knowing it. They didn't know he had left. They didn't know where he went. And when it says he went into a solitary place, it's talking about, the word means it's a wilderness sort of area, but it can also mean a coastal area. A solitary place in the Greek, it means either a coastal but combined with being a solitary place. At my mom and dad's house, they have a picture. You know, they were talking about these what people want after they die. You tell me what you want, so that after we're gone, you make sure you get the things that you want. My son, there's this picture that he said the last time he was down there, that's what he always remembers about going to my mom's house, is that picture. He said, I want that. Well, there's another picture they have in my dad's room, and it's Jesus sitting on a rock, and it's dark. You can tell it's, like a full moon, or maybe just the sun barely coming up. And he's sitting in this solitary place by himself, and in the background you can see the Sea of Galilee. And I can imagine that's exactly where he was. It talks about being alone with God. And that one's mine. I'm going to take that picture. But I've always liked that one. But that's where Jesus was, in this solitary place all by himself. And there he prayed. And Simon and they that were with him followed after him. What that means, followed after, means literally they hunted him. They were hunting for him. Where did he go? And they start hunting for him. And when they had found him, they said unto him, All men seek for thee. And he said unto them, Let us go to the next towns, that I may preach there also, for therefore came I forth. He's giving them another example. Don't just stay here. Everybody needs the word. Everybody needs to hear it. And so keep moving from town. And when he says here, next towns, the word that's used there is talking about not big metropolitan areas, but it's not talking about small villages. The word literally means unwalled cities. So it's talking about these intermediate-sized cities or towns that weren't as big as Capernaum. And he said, let's go out into these areas out here and bring the gospel to them. And he preached in their synagogues throughout all Galilee and cast out devils. Again, there's that casting out devils again. So it was common for him to go to the synagogues. Paul practiced that same example. He would go into the synagogues, and so he went throughout Galilee. So the final part of this is, and there came a leper to him, beseeching him, and kneeling down to him, and saying unto him, If thou wilt, thou canst make me clean. Leprosy was a horrific disease. I mean, it ended up being fatal, but not before it disfigured you. It was horrible. It could start around your eyes, start in your hands, and then it would eat your hands away until it was just nubs, and it would eat away your eyes, and it would disfigure your face, and it was such a repulsive thing to look at that they weren't allowed, and they thought they were unclean, and you contaminated people by being around them. And this man in this situation came to Jesus, and he pleaded with him. Beseeching him means he was pleading with him. And he kneeled down to him. He was showing him respect and honor. And saying unto him, If thou wilt, thou canst make me clean. Now that's a statement of faith. I know you can do it if you will do it. And that's where we all struggle. That's why I was saying when we were talking about praying here earlier, isn't that where we all struggle with it? Faith says, I know you can. I don't know whether you will. Is it in your will? Is it in your plan? So I don't think it's against the faith to say, Lord, according to your will. Again, there's lots of things we pray for that, thank God for unanswered prayer, because it would have messed us up if we'd have got what we asked for. God sees the bigger picture. That's why we should always pray according to the will of God. But this man said, if you will, you can do it. I know you can do it if you will. And Jesus, moved with compassion, put forth his hand and touched him, and saith unto him, I will, be thou clean. And it says, and as soon as he had spoken, immediately the leprosy departed from him, and he was cleansed. See, they were considered unclean because of this filthy, awful... You can imagine, I wouldn't have wanted anybody to see me if my face had been disfigured, my body had been disfigured, but just wanting to be healed so bad. And Jesus said, I will, be thou clean. He's moved with compassion. He uses that over and over about him. We have not a high priest which cannot be touched with the feelings of our infirmities. He was moved with compassion for the man. And he simply said, if you will, he says, I will. Be thou clean. And immediately. It wasn't like, a few days later he looked down and said, oh, I'm better. Immediately. They want you to know there's no doubt. Remember, Peter's influencing the writing here too. Peter said, there's no doubt. The guy had it, and the next minute he didn't have it. And all of it went away. And we're going to see, as we get into this next chapter, that was things that happened, the miraculous things that cannot be explained. Men will try to, but they can't. Jesus left no doubt. We're going to stop right there, and we'll pick up.